start the recording and let you guys kick it off. So thank you.
Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our session. My name is Michelle McDermott. I am the Associate Director of Student and Alumni Services at the Dornsife School of Public Health at Drexel University. I've been at Dornsife for about 2.5 years, and my role at Dornsife is really to work with students from start to finish, everything from orientation to commencement, alumni services, all of that, and I'll allow my co-presenter to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Kaufman. I am the Director of Academic Innovation at the Dornsife School of Public Health. I've been with the School of Public Health for 7 years now, doing instructional design, and then I was the Director of Online Learning and now the Director of Academic Innovation. So I work with faculty to develop our online courses and soon to be launched our fully online programs, which we're very excited about. In addition to that, I do some things with assessment and accreditation. But I've been a huge QM fan for the last 4 or 5 years, ever since I first learned about it when I was finishing up my master's degree. And really excited to infuse QM into our online programs as well as our online courses. So we're going to talk about today a couple of things. We want to give you an overview of our school to kind of let you know where we are and where we've been, and then discuss the goals that we have with developing our online student engagement plan. And talk about our current short-term and long-term goals with the QM certificate. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the population we serve and the population we want to serve, and how we hope to continue and grow our online student engagement in the future. So we couldn't do a presentation at QM without learning objectives. So the learning objectives today are that we're going to describe the potential obstacles in developing online student services. We're going to identify strategies for overcoming those obstacles. And we're going to identify the needs of our students, specifically focused on underserved populations. And then finally, develop an action plan to modify current student services for our coming online students.
So to give you a little bit of background on our institution and where we're coming from, I just wanted to share more about Dornsife and Drexel specifically. So Drexel is a large private nonprofit urban institution. We're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're an R1 research institution. We predominantly have an undergraduate population. We operate within a quarter system that really thrives on student engagement through our co-op program. We have about 24,000 students total at the university, and about 2,700 of those students are online. Approximately from that 2,700 population, 430 of those students are ours. There are Dornsife students, and 63 of which are doing the online certificate program. So generally, we are here to talk to you about the beginning of our first online master's degree. We are excited to welcome maybe about 20 students into this program. And that's a little bit about where we're coming from and what our population currently looks like and how we're going to frame all of the work that we do to serve this group of students. And so now that we've shared a little bit more about us, I hope that you'll share more about you through this poll. So I'm going to share those links through the chat and pull it up live. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Melissa. And I'll pull up the results live so that we can see them together. Tell us a little bit more about where you all are coming from and what institution you work for. So I'll just select ours for now. So hopefully we can see what the results are. I can, when you have a moment to fill out that first question, I can move on to the next question. I'll give you just a couple of seconds, and then I should be able to switch it. Now, our second question for you is, do you have an office assistant while you're in this work from home environment? I am currently here with 4 cats, and I want to know if you also have an office assistant.
I have one office assistant of the kitty variety, 2 of the small human variety who are currently locked out of my room, so they can't join us. And then in addition to that, we actually have 4 chickens, baby chickens, that are currently living in our guest bedroom, but will soon be big enough to go out to their coop. So we're going to be raising chickens again with our kids. We did that pre-kids when we had time and energy.
And I see that a good number of you have voted, and it looks like predominantly a lot of you are coming from public or private colleges or universities, and then a couple others. And then as far as your office assistants go, it looks like there's a split between cats and dogs, and maybe you have some partners that you're at home working with as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'll go back to our little PowerPoint over here, but just good to get a sense of who's in our audience and what kinds of institutions that you all are also looking for. So I want to frame this next part of the conversation about an activity that we hope will be able to actually have you participate in at the end of our presentation. Many of you may have done this before. It's called a SWOT analysis, and SWOT just stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so we're using this approach when we started to plan out what having an online master's full-time program would look like for our students, to figure out, what are the strengths and weaknesses that we have of all of the elements that go into having a cohesive student experience, from start to finish, and what opportunities do we have that are available to us that might make this a little more ease in the transition, and what are some threats that maybe would make it more challenging for us to launch this program. So just to talk through a little bit more of the challenge at hand, we're trying to provide these academic and online support services while we're in the process of doing it. Like many of you, our campuses are all virtual and remote online learning. And so we're talking to you from this perspective of we are a work in progress. We are operating and learning as we go. We originally had planned this presentation around the idea that it would be something we would do in the future, and we were sharing our progress as we were going through it. And now we're kind of talking from the frame of putting our money where our mouth is, and this is what we have to do now to currently help our face-to-face students, and how can we, troubleshoot and see what's working and what's not working to work through this for our online students that would begin with us in the fall. We had this luxury of time where we had hoped to cross every T and dot every I, but it's just not the case right now. However, I'd like to, frame this conversation from this trial approach that we're learning more every day about what we're doing and what works and what doesn't, and that our students are learning more what works for them and what doesn't. And we've had the luxury of building relationships face-to-face with these students before this transition happened. So it's not just a new population that we're working with, and this population that we'll be working with in the fall will be completely new to the university. So some of our services are already a little bit familiar with our face-to-face students that are now working remotely with us. So we're hoping that we have the opportunity to build this out as much as we can, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end of this for you all to reflect on your experiences so far in this remote working from home online learning experience, if you've recently converted to that as well. So just some of the strengths that we had available to us as we transitioned this past winter quarter, and that we will have available to us coming this fall, is that Drexel has a pretty large online program already. We call them Duo, Drexel University Online, and they already have a lot of existing systems of support. So this is an area that we could really easily expand into, and we didn't need to develop a lot of tech support or resources because they were already in software agreements that enabled us and empowered us to do this. So that was really to our advantage in terms of working with an IT support staff that was really familiar with the technology and the software and could easily just help us troubleshoot as we were going. We didn't have to go through the headache of inventing it for ourselves, which was really nice. I already sort of mentioned that with the COVID pandemic, we've been thrusted into sort of redesigning these services, which will ultimately better serve our students come the fall when we've had some time to really test this out before they're beginning with us. And we can, of course, pilot new ways to engage with students that we do have a relationship with because of our face-to-face interactions, and we'll be able to try to translate those practices with our online students come the fall. And some of the ways that we hope to do this is that we currently have a pilot orientation for our certificate students. So this isn't totally a new area for us, although it can feel a little bit new when we're doing it for full-time students that might have different demands, but definitely something that's benefiting us as we're going through this. So some of the weaknesses or challenges that we're facing is really just the time limit. So again, this is happening in the fall, whether or not we are prepared and ready and polished and perfect. And so that can be really off-putting to students if everything doesn't look presentable or if things feel chaotic on their end, if it's challenging logistically for them to begin taking classes with us, that could really threaten the retention or threaten their commitment level to the university. And so we want to make sure that in this small time limit we have, we're really creating a welcoming environment to make them feel as comfortable as possible to begin with us. One weakness is that we do have a lot of centralized services at the university, which just sort of limits the amount of help that we are actually able to provide with our students, because often we'll have to redirect students to these centralized services just for our everyday work. So this, of course, is a barrier for our face-to-face students, but it will definitely be a barrier for our online students because we can't control all of the experiences or all of the systems that they'll have. They'll have to rely on our campus partners. And if they don't have a good experience with a campus partner, it might be inherently linked to us, which is something that we can't really control. So definitely something that we need to pay attention to when having to redirect students to our partners. However, on the flip side, we have a lot of campus partners that are able to collaborate with us and provide services that just Melissa and I or just us within Dornsife could not do all on our own. So it's really wonderful that we have seen all of these services find ways to operate remotely without us needing to ask them. So it's really wonderful that our counseling center is now able to operate business as usual and take online appointments and provide support groups virtually. So we envision that these services will continue in the future and that they will now be available to our online students as well, full-time once we return to campus. And so we have all of these campus partners that are already in the mindset of thinking about how to engage people virtually. And that's really a great opportunity for us to continue to get them to do it once we return to our in-person services. Another opportunity that we have is that we can support faculty by providing a resource guide and creating new opportunities to access these partnerships and using sort of a playbook as a way to help guide people. So as we're learning and going through this, we can really document what we've been doing and use that as a resource to anyone that's new to our community to help them figure out how to navigate through it. And then finally, our EMPH program, which stands for our Executive Masters of Public Health program, is a hybrid program right now. So they're experiencing this online cohort in a small way. They have some classes online, they have some classes face-to-face, and it has this residency component for the first year. So they will have the experience of building those social relationships and then continuing them virtually. And this is a great opportunity for us to really assess, like, how is this going, what is working and what isn't working. So there's the opportunity to get some data and information from students that are already going through it in a part-time capacity. And then finally, some of the things that might threaten this situation is faculty and staff support. This really shapes the experience because obviously our students will have a ton of face time with our faculty and staff. And if faculty and staff are resistant or if they have a limited experience with faculty, it might really frame how students feel about the online program and whether or not we're providing services that are supportive. So we have somewhat of a limited ability to help control the attitudes of our colleagues, and we hope that they will be open to adjusting to this new system. And then, of course, this is our first cohort, as we mentioned, so there's some newness to it, and sometimes ideas take a while to catch on. You can do everything perfectly, and even the best ideas in the world just don't always take flight. So that is something that could threaten these online services as we're starting to develop them. It's just students getting used to the idea of having to do it, especially if they've never taken online classes before. And so one thing I wanted to reflect on is now that we know more about the conditions that we're facing, I think we need to relook at what experts say about student engagement and about what approaches are successful to connecting with college students. And I've chosen a few theories that I think are the most applicable, and there are dozens more that could help you guide your practice and serve as a resource when you're developing your approach. So I just want to cover these as a quick overview. I know that I'm simplifying these very detailed theories that have a lot of deeper level concepts and very developed ideas. So I really recommend that you look into them more as I go through them post-conference and just understand fully what these concepts are examining, because you can't just blanket apply a theory to a person. And so I would say that as sort of a disclaimer as I start to move this forward. And so to start off our discussion, our first category of theory is the environment that we're trying to create. So today, approximately 30 to 60% of students leave college without a degree. And we want to create an environment that really engages students and drives student success, which will ultimately increase retention. And so a way that we can do that is by creating a powerful educational environment. So according to Strange and Benning's person environment theory, educational environments are most powerful when they offer students three fundamental conditions. So those conditions are a sense of security and inclusion, mechanisms for involvement, and an experience of community. So when we're thinking about creating a community, how can Drexel do that? And how can you all do that? When we approach student support services, can we focus on these elements in everything that we do to make sure that they feel secure and involved and that there is a sense of community? How can we design our physical online systems so that they feel inviting, that they feel inclusive, and they feel secure? And what are the elements of our online systems that are communicated verbally to our students when they log in? What is the first thing that they see? What are the images that they see? And what do they tell students subtly? And what systems are in place to ensure that all of our features are accessible to all kinds of audiences? You know, are our systems ADA compliant? Are they able to support the variety of ways in which students learn or the variety of ways in which students need? So is there a way that we can enhance this, and what are our community partners? And then sort of beyond that, how do we communicate our value and our mission to students? What messages are they hearing when they first arrive from us? Are there emails that are communicating who we are, what we care about, what their experience will be like, what the school's public health stands for? What is the Dornsife culture like? And can they get that information through our Blackboard, through our email, or through our social media? And I think it's really important that we try to find ways to build all of those elements of what our culture is here at Drexel and here at Dornsife into all of our online systems. We want to make students feel like they're noticed, like they're cared about, and like they're appreciated. And the way that we can do that is to really think through what does it look like as they're entering into our online system. Another approach to viewing this is through the lens of Aston's theory of involvement. And so what does this theory tell us? So according to Aston, student involvement requires investment and effort. So being intentional with learning and personal development directly correlates the quantity and the quality of student involvement. I'm going to say that again. So being intentional with learning and personal development directly correlates to the quantity and quality of student involvement. And you can achieve this and create a sense of belonging and connectivity among students. The more students that you have involved, the more that they will persist in terms of their academic success, Aston says. And satisfaction with campus climate and occupying something in the middle ground is all a part of what students are expecting. So when we think about our online spaces that we maintain, how can we control the classroom to reflect this, to encourage interactions between students so that they're high quality? Does that relate to the size of the class? Does that relate to the design or the layout? Are there private spaces where students can bond, or are there ways that they can bond with faculty and staff privately if they need to? Are there ways that we can create virtual groups for students to bond with one another that doesn't have this presence of the administration involved in it? And so finally, the last year is so. Oh,
we got about 5 minutes left, so I think we want to like. Zip.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Fine. I'll just skip on over that and move on to our goals. I've been talking for so long. So really, our goals are to use all of these things that we've learned from Cirrus and to focus from here on how we can connect with the university, how can we help our students connect with our academic support services, and how can we continue to provide transitional support. So sorry about taking so much time.
No, you're great. Okay, so and I've been answering some questions in the Q&A while you were talking too. So, but I just wanted to make sure that we got through the rest of this. So, in terms of our goals for QM, currently our faculty are all encouraged to do a PQMR, which, if you're not familiar with, is kind of the intro to quality matters. And basically, what I've heard from the faculty who have done it is, oh my gosh, that was so much work, but wow, it really made me better at this. So I'm trying to get more people to be willing to take those 2 weeks and do that. And then also, all of our courses are designed with the QM rubric in mind as a guide. I am trained in the APP QMR, and then also the instructional designers I work with at Drexel University Online are also trained in that. So, so QM is infused into all of our online courses and programs. Short term, I'd like 80% of my online faculty be APP QMR certified and 30% of my online courses to be QM certified. And my long-term goal is to have 100% of my eligible courses and programs QM certified. I think that that will make us stand out in an increasingly crowded market, and it will also create a significantly better experience for our online students.
Just quickly to talk more about populations. So things that you should consider when you're helping students navigate to this new portal. What does your university offer for first-year students, and how can you help aid in that transition? You know, reminding students that they aren't alone by helping them meet their classmates, having opportunities for cohorts to meet and connect and speak candidly. I mentioned this earlier. Are there barriers that your students face? Does this relate to financial aid? And are there ways that you can highlight how to overcome those barriers? And then, of course, inclusivity, building an inclusive environment, talking about your university's mission statement or diversity statement, having class rules, all of these elements that you would have for face-to-face students, so important to carry them over for your online students as well, and bringing professors and faculty and staff into that conversation as well. And so really the tips that I have for you are to figure out what are your community needs, who makes up your community. Send out a survey or set up a time that you can get to know them to learn more about what kinds of challenges and barriers they're facing as they transition in. And then, of course, don't assume, ask them through a survey, talk to them one-on-one. This is really great to do through social experiences like virtual karaoke, or to do through social media and asking polls. You can get a lot of great data that way. And then finally, be prepared. If you're going to ask for feedback, be prepared to respond to it and provide follow-up support to help your students have a better experience as they start with your institution. There are definitely a lot of campus partners that we mentioned, and there are a lot of ways that they can provide extra support too. So find out from your campus partners, how can they provide further assistance or support for your online students.
And then, so for the fall, the things that we're planning on doing to really engage our online students with our school is we're hoping to send them all a welcome package that includes the t-shirt that our face-to-face students get at orientation, a pin, some other swag that the students get at orientation to make them really excited about being at our school. we're going to celebrate our graduates. So actually Drexel University Online already sends a package to online students when they graduate with like a little cap and confetti. It's super cute. We're just going to hopefully partner with them to add some Dornsife swag to that. We are going to, during orientation, we do this really lovely ceremony where the students read the school's mission and get a pin, and we announce all their names. So we're going to live stream it. We live streamed it last year, so we know that works, and read all the online student names. We're going to try and do some socials, maybe in person if our students are local. Virtual, we've experienced, has not worked so well right now. And then just try and really get feedback from the students about what they want as online students. We know we're providing them with the services that they need. So we're pretty much out of time. If Michelle, if you go to the next slide, you can see, so we have this activity and our slides are posted. I think someone put the link in the chat to where the slides can be found, but you can download this yourself if you don't have an online cohort, or if you want to increase your engagement with your online students and do this activity like we did for ourselves as planning out these programs.
Absolutely. And feel free to contact us if you have any questions. We'd be happy to tell you more about what we're doing and help you think through what you would like to do.
Yeah, and don't forget to fill out the session survey. That's really helpful for QM as they evaluate the sessions. There was one other question in the Q&A that I got, which was, how do you use incentives to engage faculty and students? And that's a great question. So I'm actually presenting on a program that we did to incentivize faculty to teach online later on today. Shameless plug. But then also, you know, in terms of incentivizing students, you know, it's really challenging. There are different ways to do it within your course by making engagement kind of a part of the course requirement. But forced interaction is not the best. So I think the most important thing that faculty can do is make the engagement meaningful to the students, and not just, so right, going back to alignment and your learning objectives and like your activities, like don't just tell the students what you want to talk about, like figure out what it is that engagement will do to get them to those learning objectives, and then you'll have them be more engaged and more interested.
Yeah, and I think that comes with getting to know your population as well, and learning about what makes them tick.
Exactly, yeah. So we can hang on for, I think the next session is at 11:35, so we can hang out for another few minutes if anybody wants to put a question in the Q&A or the chat. But thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Melissa and Michelle. I'm going to take over sharing the screen and show what the next session is going to be in this room. But obviously, if people have questions and want to throw them in the chat, that is fine while I start moving and looking for the presenters for the next session too. But thank you very much. I'm going to always have to stop the recording.